What happens to our body and brain if we don't get enough sleep? Today's video is based on an article from Business Insider in which Matthew Walker, a professor of neuroscience and psychology at the University of California, explains what the consequences of not getting enough sleep can be, both for our bodies and for our minds. First, let's see how not getting enough sleep can impact our brains. We certainly know that a lack of sleep will actually prevent your brain from being able to initially make new memories. So it's almost as though without sleep, the memory inbox of the brain shuts down, and you can't commit new experiences to memory. We also know that a lack of sleep will lead to an increased development of a toxic protein in the brain that is called beta amyloid, which is associated with Alzheimer's disease because it's during sleep at night when a sewage system within the brain actually kicks into high gear and it starts to wash away this toxic protein, beta amyloid. So if you're not getting enough sleep each and every night, more of that Alzheimer's-related protein will build up. The more protein that builds up, the greater your risk of going on to develop dementia in later life. What are the effects of sleep deprivation on the body? Well, there are many different effects. Firstly, we know that sleep deprivation affects the reproductive system. We know that men who are sleeping just 5 to 6 hours a night have a level of testosterone which is that of someone 10 years their senior. So a lack of sleep will age you by almost a decade in terms of that aspect of virility and wellness. We also know that a lack of sleep impacts your immune system. So after just one night of 4 to 5 hours of sleep, there is a 70% reduction in critical anti-cancer fighting immune cells called natural killer cells. And that's the reason that we know that short sleep duration predicts your risk for developing numerous forms of cancer. And that list currently includes bowel cancer, prostate cancer, as well as breast cancer. In fact, the link between a lack of sleep and cancer is now so strong that recently the World Health Organization decided to classify any form of nighttime shift work as a probable carcinogen. So in other words, jobs that may induce cancer because of a disruption of your sleep rate rhythms. We also know that a lack of sleep impacts your cardiovascular system because it's during your deep sleep at night that you receive a most wonderful form of effectively blood pressure medication. Your heart rate drops, your blood pressure goes down. If you're not getting sufficient sleep, you're not getting that reboot of the cardiovascular system, so your blood pressure rises. If you're getting 6 hours of sleep or less, you have a 200% increased risk of having a fatal heart attack or stroke in your lifetime. There's a global experiment that is performed on 1.6 billion people twice a year, and it's called daylight savings time. And we know that in the spring, when we lose 1 hour of sleep, we see a subsequent 24% increase in heart attacks the following day. Another question, perhaps, is what is the recycle rate of a human being? How long can we actually last without sleep before we start to see declines in our brain function or even impairments within our bodies? The answer seems to be about 16 hours of wakefulness. Once you get past 16 hours of being awake, that's when you start to see mental deterioration and physiological deterioration in the body. We know that after you've been awake for 19 or 20 hours, your mental capacity is so impaired that you'd be as deficient as someone who was legally drunk behind the wheel of a car. So if you were to ask me what's the recycle rate of a human being, it does seem to be about 16 hours, and we need about 8 hours of sleep to repair the damage of wakefulness. Wakefulness essentially is low-level brain damage. To summarize this video, let's try and get 8 hours of sleep every night, and we'll save ourselves a lot of trouble in our life. If you liked this video, don't miss the video How to Stop Feeling Tired During the Day that you can find on this channel. I invite you to subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell if you haven't done so already, and I wish you a wonderful rest of the day.